So you can ask me some questions, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it.
Welcome to Stories with Rory. I'm your host, Aurora Goriales, and I'm the Las Vegas spooky kid. In my new 10-part series, I get to interview and hang out with some of the wildest, crazy, most unique, and talented people in some of the coolest locations in Las Vegas. If you love things weird, creepy, and off the wall, you're in the right place. As always, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and a comment. Without further ado, let's get right into episode 2. My guest tonight is seriously not so serious. A real funny man. He's super cool, extremely smart, a whole lot of fun, and, you guessed it, kind of bizarre. On tonight's episode, we are meeting our guest at the secret location somewhere in downtown Las Vegas with a name like Bizzaro. You know it will be interesting. Not only is he an illusionist, inventor, comedian, and a performer, he also builds escape rooms like the one we're filming in tonight. More about that later. He's appeared on Fox, NBC, America's Got Talent, and the CW's Master of Illusions. He's performed his original magic all around the world and is a regular performer at the famous Magic Castle in Hollywood, California. This guy specializes in creating magic for other magicians, most notably David Copperfield. How cool is that? And with all that, he still manages to perform 3 nights a week in late night magic. The time has come to meet Bizzaro.
Where did you get your the idea for your name?
I was 13. I was in Austin, Texas at the time. I was practicing a magic trick in front of a mirror, and I did something. I went, "Oh, that move looks bizarro," and all of a sudden, bing, big light bulb, giant explosion. I was like, "That's an amazing name for performing," and so I kind of just went with it, and I didn't know at the time how to spell it properly, so I was spelling it. So if you as you've seen, it's 2 Z's 1 R, right? Most people spell it improperly because the correct spelling for bizarre is 1 Z 2 R's, but because I grew up listening to ZZ Top, the band, and I like their little double Z, little slash they have, I thought it'd be cool to just do 2 Z's and 1 R, which is not correct, but it separates me away from the Superman villain, which I didn't know existed at the time. I had no idea that was a thing, there's also a newspaper comic strip called Bizzaro spelled the correct way, and so it also separates me away from that as well. So, yeah, that's a long answer to a short question.
Where did you come up with your outfit costume kind of?
I've had different outfits over the years performing. This one's is kind of my talking outfit. This is the one I wear when I'm doing my talking acts. I have a whole show of talking comedy magic. And then I also have a silent act, which I do to music, so I don't talk. And that's the one you've probably seen the most of, the trench coat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've been wearing these kinds of hats, the fedoras, since I was 12. So that's just kind of who I am. And then I also have been wearing trench coats for a long time because I like the way they look. And so I also, since I was very young, so I just kind of built my look around my actual persona and who I am and just made it more theatrical. So like my silent act coat is a trench coat with red trim on it. And that is so you can see what it is. Because on stage, I used to wear a black hat on stage. And then I would watch video, and because a lot of performing venues have black curtains, just the top half of my head would vanish. It would just look like I didn't have a head because the hat is black. So, and then on stage, the black lapels and stuff on the coat are just hard to see. So I was like, okay, let's put a red trim here. Let's get a red hat. And so it became part of being of visibility, but also when you're on stage, you want to look theatrical and professional. But a little longer answer to that question. When I first started, my mother had made me a Beetlejuice striped suit, right? Like the one he wears in the movie for Halloween to go trick-or-treating in. So when I started doing magic professionally, I'm like, okay, I'm going to wear the Beetlejuice suit, I'm going to wear the hat, and I'm going to wear, ironically enough, of a plastic fish tie. that we had for some reason in my house, and it wasn't skeletal. It had like skin on it, and so I wore that for a long time. And then I started wearing other outfits, and I'll put up my very embarrassing high school photos that I have. That is a couple of outfits. I used to wear like a zebra striped shirt with an eyeball tie. I always wear the hat though. And then over time, I eventually got to where I wear the red shirt and the black tie for my silent act. And then when I started doing more talking stuff, I got this guy here. This was done by a company out of Texas called Art with Latex. They hand make latex cool stuff. And originally this was going to be a prop in my show, but the idea didn't work. So I'm like, I'm just going to make it a tie.
Oh,
So
I thought it was a tie.
it is. It's a tie now. It didn't start life as a tie. It started life as a prop, and then it became a tie when I and then so it's all kind of come full circle. I started by wearing a fish tie, and then over time I came back to the more weird version of it.
Did you make your costume yourself, or did you have any help?
A bit of both. So when I first started, my costume was kind of off the rack. I was buying shirts here and there, buying pants, stuff like that. And then I used to wear my day-to-day trench coat. The problem with wearing stuff that is your day-to-day is you can't really gimmick it out and put pockets and cool stuff in it. So the outfit that I wear on stage, the red and black outfit, I have custom made from a website that is fits me exactly. Like you can put your measurements in and they'll just make you a suit or a shirt or whatever to the exact specifications you want. And then the trench coat was something we bought and modified. So the trench coat was kind of an off the rack thing that we added all the red striping to, and there's a bunch of weird pockets and magnets and things inside of it. If it was here, I'd show you, but I don't have it here. So,
Did you just do the red because you liked it and it was more visible on stage?
kind of. At one point, I had considered trying to experiment with more serious magic instead of being kind of weird. And then I was like, oh, I'll wear black and red. It's a little more serious. And I found the black and red outfit. I put it on and went, oh, I like the way this looks. But I didn't want to do the serious stuff. I was like, this doesn't appeal to me. So I was like, I like the red and black look. And so this is kind of an interesting kind of side thought on that. So, you know, Penn and Teller are, yeah? You heard of them? Yes, no? Okay. That's fine. So they're two magicians. They have a show called Penn and Teller's Fool Us. A lot of magicians are on there. They have a show at the Rio here in town. You know, the 100-foot tall of just their heads. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So Penn and Teller had this thing they talked about. So they perform in suits, right? Gray suits. And the reason they say they do that is so when they do weird stuff, like get covered in blood or get stabbed with a knife or something, it's more shocking because if they came out dressed crazy and wild, you expect them to do crazy and wild stuff. So I kind of dress for silent act a little conservative, like I'm wearing a tie and suspenders. I dress nice-ish. So when I do weird stuff, it's like, oh, because when I come on stage, you don't know what I'm going to do, right? You don't 100% know. And then you're like, oh, this guy's kind of strange. So it's just kind of theatrical theory, if you will.
What brought you to do magic in face?
I lost a bet. No, I grew up in Texas, and so I did magic there for years. I was one of the only performers who worked the bar and nightclub scene. I started working in bars between bands when I was 16. And so over time, I just kind of got as much as I could out of where I grew up. And I needed to go somewhere where they take performing more seriously. Because I don't know if you know this, the South is not terribly progressive. You may have heard some of people talking about that. So being a weirdo stage performer in Dallas is a very corporate city. There's not a lot of opportunity for arts and stuff there. Science is kind of, but arts and stuff. So I was like, let's go where there's no magicians. So I came to Vegas where there's nothing but magicians, but I also knew that what I did was different than everybody else. So, and I also didn't come out here to have my own show. I came out here to work and just be on stage and be around magic and just perform more. And that was 15 years ago.
What magic trick were you practicing and where?
I want to say it was linking ropes.
Oh,
where you take colored ropes and you're tied into a loop and you just kind of link them together. Yeah. You know, when you're 13, that's great. I do different stuff now.
Do you come up with your own tricks or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I either come up with my own stuff or I modify pre-existing things and make them my own. Like when you do anything like costuming or performing or music, it's some people have the urge to just do their own thing and stand out and be different from everybody, and some people just want to be cover bands and do what everybody else is doing. There's nothing wrong with that, but some of us have the mental damage who are just like, hey, I want to make cool, weird stuff. And I always explain to people, I make the things that I'd want to see if I was in the audience, right? Like if I'm sitting there, what do I want to see? And I have a weird sense of humor. So, I want to see a bag of Doritos brought to life and bite somebody's face off. So that's why I do that.
That's fun.
Yeah. Videos online. We can put a clip right here.
Yes. What's your first trick that you invented?
Oh, I don't even know. That's a good question. I've always tried to do my own stuff, but kind of think. I mean, I can show you an example of one that I have created that is probably my most well-known one. So this one, you ever seen the magician push a piece of cloth in his hand to make it vanish? You ever seen that before?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we won't do that then. No, I'm kidding. That's so I've done that. I've done that for years. I've done it for kids, and you know what kids say to me?
What?
I know how you did that. And I say to them, you have a deep voice for an 8-year-old. But they think I have a hole in my hand or a pocket right there. You don't see a hole or anything like that, right? That's just a hand, right?
The hand.
Yeah. So, but I thought, what if I did? Wouldn't this be cool if I could just stick, there we go, push that all the way through right there, right through, just see, you just pull that, and that just goes all the way through my hand, hold on, stop. 1 second. There we go. Just goes all the way through like that. So I thought, wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So I created that in 2003. So that's probably my most the one that I like the most. I'm the most proudest of. But yeah, the first thing I couldn't tell you the first thing I did because I'm older than I look.
How many tricks have you made?
A lot, because I don't just create for myself. I create for the people. I consult for TV shows and for the performers. So there is a series online that you could look up. There's a performer. Her name is Misty Lee. She's a magician and a voiceover actress in Burbank. For 2 years, we did a online series called Unicorn Wednesday. I know, I'm very excited. I'm messing with you. It's fine. Created this series called Unicorn Wednesday, where once a week for 2 years we just did a new little magic video about a minute long, sometimes 30 seconds, sometimes a little longer, a little shorter. We just were doing new stuff. Now, when I say new stuff, I mean sometimes we're creating brand new things, but also we're taking things that already exist and changing them to be more interesting or make sense instead of just doing a lot of magicians nowadays will just go buy a trick the day of, do it for the camera, do it very badly for the camera, and then just be like, oh, like and subscribe, and that's it. And that's not fun. We wanted something that had a little more heart and soul to it, so people would kind of relate to it and stuff. So if you get a chance to see that. But so having said that, I mean, I've worked on hundreds of magic effects over my life of varying degrees.
What was your first real performance and what age did you do that?
I was in 6th grade. The first time I did anything on stage. I did stuff standing up for family and things like that. This magic kit I had. But when I was in 6th grade, they had a talent show, and I'm like, I'll do that. And I remember distinctly being on stage and then calling my name and then I just seizing up and just sitting there going, oh no, I have to go out in front of people now. Oh no. And so the way I always talk to people about this when this comes up, and it's basically I had to pretend that I got behind myself and push myself out on stage. Because basically what happened was as soon as I put my foot out and they saw my foot, I'm like, well, they've seen me. I can't stop. And I just kept going. And that was, haven't looked back. So yeah, 6th grade. I don't know how old I would have been in 6th grade, but that was my first actual performance.
How do your parents feel about like your hobbies?
Oh, they're supportive. My parents are big old hippies, so they were, and I'm an only child, so I kind of was the only person they could pay attention to, which was nice. But no, they were very supportive of what I did. They took me to all sorts of my parents and my mother's mother, so my grandmother on her side, used to take me to all sorts of arts and sciences and performances. I got to see a lot of cool stuff that would mean nothing to you if I told you their names, but I got to see a lot of cool things growing up. And so they were very supportive. Like when I had gigs and I couldn't drive, they'd drive me there and stuff like that. So, but there are a lot of performers I know who weren't as lucky, whose parents were not happy about them being performers. So I'm very fortunate.
How did you get on America's Got Talent?
I lost another bet. No, sorry. I had actually submitted stuff because I was on season 3. So that was like 2008, right? And I had submitted stuff for season 2, and they didn't take any of it. So I just was like, fine, I get it, whatever. They don't want me, I'm not going to submit again, because if they don't want me on season 2, why do they want me on season 3? And I just moved to, I think I was just about to move to Vegas, because this was early 2008. And there was a local, what do you call it, booking agency in Dallas, who they had contacted. AGT had contacted this booking agency and was basically saying, hey, who do you got? We need people. And so he submitted everybody on his roster, and because I was doing weird fire stuff, they're like, hey, this guy. And so they had me come on. Now, at the time, AGT didn't really care much for variety acts. They were more of a show pushing musicians and music acts, because you can make more money off of music acts after whoever wins. And so variety acts, the AGT now is way different than AGT third season. And so they brought variety acts on kind of to make fun of us a lot of times. Like if you watch the clip that I'm in, because I was just part of a compilation, 2 of the guys who looked like they did bad actually did really good. They just made them look through editing, because you can do a lot through editing. Through editing, they made them look like they did poorly, but they got standing ovations from the audience. And so the reason, so that's, and also the show kind of migrated towards being like all about the story. It's like, hey, do you have a sob story? Is your mom missing a leg? Do you have cancer? Hey, come be on AGT. Do you have and I have lots of very thoughts I probably can't say on camera right now about that show. But I've helped a lot of friends behind the scenes with it. I've made props for them, and I will say it is a machine, and it's really cool to go and see where it's evolved from to where it was, or where it was to where it's evolved to. Like they got light up floors, like television screen floors that you feel you shouldn't walk on, because it feels like you're walking on a TV and you're going to break it. And it's a big production, and it's cool, but at the same time, they're not there to help you. They're there to help themselves.
So, like, did you do the act where, like, you lit your pants on fire?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did my fire. They wanted my fire from Zipper, and I did that. I also did some stuff with my Dorito bag act, but that got edited. The only thing they showed was the fire. And yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. TV is TV, and I have a lot of friends who've gone on television, and I always tell them, listen, you might not even make it. You might get edited out, and if you're doing something and it messes up, tell them, stop. Either start saying swear words, so they have to stop filming, or you go, hey, let's take that again. Because a lot of people don't realize TV isn't really, unless it's live, it's not live, right? It feels live. So there's always ways to kind of around that. But yeah, it was a cool experience, but I have no need to do it again, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, I don't think they barely even gave you like a minute.
Oh, I think I'm on there for a grand total of 5-6 seconds. Welcome to a compilation clip, yeah. And it's fun. But they've contacted me again since and been like, hey, you want to be back on the show again? And I'm like, I don't have what you're looking for. I'm not the person you want. Like I have no need to be on that show again.
Besides like America's Got Talent, do you have you been on like any other TV shows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So before America's Got Talent, I was on a game show called 30 Seconds to Fame, where you had 30 seconds to do something, which was hilarious. And I did okay on that. I got all the way through the 30 seconds, which was nice. And again, they had me doing the fire from the zipper, because television just loves that for some reason. I got so much footage of me doing fire. I'm like, I do other things, guys. I was on the Travel Channel. They were doing a world's most extreme conventions, and when I think extreme, I think magic. So they came to a magic convention here in town in 2009 and videotaped me doing stuff, so I'm on that. And I've been on a handful of other just random things. Like I was somewhere, there's footage of me spitting fire on like a custom car TV show somewhere that I got hired for. My Shocker and I have been on was it Showtime at the Apollo of all things, if you can imagine that. And what was the thing? Masters of Illusion on CW, and I've also worked a lot behind the scenes for other TV shows, like creating magic for the people, and like I work both sides of the camera. So
like when you and Shocker both perform, do you perform with him only when you do your silent acts?
no, I have my silent act is it can be separate from him as well. It's a nice partnership, because much like Penn and Teller, he's the loud talking guy, and I'm not little, but I'm the silent guy, so it works well with what we do. But no, my silent act is kind of like if people need a 10 to 15 minute act, in a variety show or something, my silent act is great for that. And so it just depends. Like in the show here in town, Late Night Magic, that we do, I am what do you call it? I'm in the show. My main act is in there for about 9 minutes, and then I have another piece later in the show. But we also interact with each other in the show. Like we pop in and out of each other's acts and do stuff to mess with each other and things like that. So that's nice. But yeah, my main act can be separate from him or with him.
So he's kind of like a narrator of your tricks, like telling.
No, not really. Yes, depending on the effect. So like we have a routine with what we call invisible knife throwing, where I throw invisible knives at things and things happen. It's online, you can look it up. And so with that one, he talks through it. But when I'm doing my act, if I'm doing some of my routines, he's usually not on stage. But if he's on stage and we're both on stage, he's talking through it. He's kind of like the host at that point. And so he's the one telling the audience what's going to happen, what I'm going to do. And then usually something bad happens and my hand gets chopped off.
What's your least favorite escape room that you've built, or do you not have any?
I mean, I don't hate any of my children. There's definitely ones I would like to have had more time and money. There's a Venn diagram that exists. You may have seen it online, and it's 3 circles, and it says cheap, fast, good, pick 2. Because you can't have all 3. It's rare you can have all 3. And so, unfortunately, sometimes the big one, people come to me all the time and go, hey, can we do this? And I say, how much money and time do you have? Because, yes, anything is possible. How much time and money do you have? So sometimes I just haven't been given enough time or money. And so some stuff does not turn out as good as we would like or hope. And then also, hopefully, as you do stuff, you get better at it. So I look at some of our old rooms we did, like our very first rooms we built back in 2017, and I just look at them and go, oh, I want to go back and make those better. I want to fix them, but I can't. So I haven't disliked any of them, because we will, to our detriment, work very hard to make a room good, or as good as we can get. And, you like anything, you do your best and hope but you can't please everybody. So it's like, what is it? It's the 80-20 rule. If 80% of the people are happy with it, you're doing pretty good. I'm scared already.
What's your favorite horror movie?
I like how you just went from very very serious to your nice voice. It's very funny. I don't know if I have a top, but I have ones I really like. Like, I'm a big fan of the Tales of the Crypt Demon Knight movie. Great film. Billy Zane is an amazing villain. And I don't want any of you judging me for this. I really like Bride of Chucky. All right, right?
I
Good
love
movie,
Chucky
right?
and his bride.
Yeah, great. And Bride of Chucky's very funny, and I really like it. So don't judge me. I like those two quite a bit, but I like all sorts of horror films, because there's so many goofy. Have you seen the one with the killer tire that kills people with its mind? It's called Rubber, and it is ridiculous. It is a murder tire. The movie is not great, but it's so ridiculous.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's something you would like.
There's one called Black Sheep. Now, when you tell people our ages, the movie Black Sheep, they think of a movie with like Chris Farley, David Spade. But there is a movie from New Zealand called Black Sheep with werewolf sheep in it. And it's hilarious. It's great.
Like a mixture of them?
No, it's like, you know how like werewolves, like people become like kind of humanoid wolves? These people become humanoid sheep that are murderous. It's so silly.
What's your favorite subject to do in school?
In what?
In school.
School. I haven't been in school in a long time. I mean, art. I was always we were talking about this earlier. You guys all need to go do cool stuff in school. My school didn't have all that stuff. Like my school, every year in high school, they had tech theater. They offered tech theater, but they never hired a tech theater teacher. So I never got to learn tech theater. We had sort of a theater teacher, but that was just basic theater stuff. Like we never got to learn, or like we never got to make scenery. We never got to learn how to do lighting. We never learned all this stuff. So every year I'd sign up for like, "Why not a teacher?" Like, you say that every year. Why don't you hire a teacher? So unfortunately, my school did not have enough cool stuff that I would like to have done. But I was already out performing for a living when I was in school. So I kind of learned by doing. So the closest thing I could say that we had in my school that was cool was my art class. And unfortunately, my art teacher didn't like me too much because I had problems with authority. And so she kicked me out of art 3.5. So, yeah.
They can kick you out of work?
Well, yeah, if the teacher doesn't like you, they can make you not sign up for the next year. Like, I couldn't come back for the next, like, whatever for that. At least in my school. I don't know what it's like now. I went to school in, like, a redneck town in Texas. That things were different.
Now, what's your favorite band hosting?
Ooh, favorite band. I like a lot of obscure bands. Like, I'm a big fan of a friend of mine's band called Alex Can't Sleep. I'm a big listener of, like, I'm a punk enjoyer, punk, ska, swing, industrial rock, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of those bands. I never really have. I'm one of those people who, like, don't have a favorite one top thing. I always have a large group of things I like because everything is different, right? But when somebody says, "Hey, if I was to go listen to your phone right now, what would be playing?" I'd be like, "Well, it'd be punk music, probably, more likely." And so, but like, I listen to all sorts of, like, bands like Rancid and Bad Religion and the weird psychobilly bands like Demented Argo and Mad Sin and all these neat, fun bands. And this is a random story you didn't ask about. I was this girl, a friend of mine was a friend of mine was in our car, and she was talking about how it's like, oh, you can learn a lot, you can tell a lot about people from the bands that are on their phone. And I go, here, look, tell me about me. And she started just looking through, and I could tell she didn't recognize any of the band names at all. And because I used to have an internet radio show, so people used to just send me weird music. I have so much fun, weird music at home on my computer. And so she's looking through it going, you have a lot of obscure bands I've never heard of. And I'm like, mm-hmm. And that tells me a lot about you. Let me show you something. You'll like this. Check this out. You want some? No? All right. How about now? No? All right. Watch this. Hold on. I'm going to pour some of this into my hand, and I'm going to squeeze really tight. I'm just going to turn it back into a horse. You want to drink?
Oh.
It's a horse. Now, you were asking me about Oreos earlier, right? No? Because of that, I brought some. Oh, look at that. Yeah. See, I know what kids like. Cookies. That's the thing. Yeah, these are real too. Let's take one.
Oh, yay.
I'll show you something cool you can do with an Oreo. Watch this. Right through. You catch it on your finger.
That's cool.
Yeah. You were asking about this one earlier here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. So this is. I'm just gonna. You want some? No, okay, it's fine. So that's I used to just throw this part away. Right? I used to just throw the cookie bits away. My mother used to get mad at me. Like, she found a trash can full of them one time, and I'm like, all right, well, so I had to figure out what to do, right? I had to figure out what to do about that. So I figured out if I shake it and get it to refill. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's more of it. But now the hard part, let me see if I can try to get the lighting down good here. If I shake it, do it a little more, I can steal it from all the other cookies. Like that. Here we go. See? Yeah. Now, do not try this at home.
I will not.
No, not what I just did, what I'm about to do. I'm a trained professional idiot. Here we go. You want to look around? Cool, let's do it. So we're in the second room. This is the second room of where we are right here. And I'm sure there's absolutely nothing under this cloth.
Totally not.
No, there's probably nothing under here. Go ahead and pull it off and just take a look. I was wrong. Keep going. What else is there? What else is there?
Oh wow, I never knew. Wow.
Yeah. He's so surprised. Here, let me give you a hand.
Oh, okay. Hello, sir.
Yeah, bring sleep. Shh. Here, go ahead, open these. I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
No, smaller. No. Nothing bad will ever happen.
Is that like your bathtub at home? Totally. Okay, yeah. This has the torso and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks like somebody got into your closet. Somebody's been shopping at Hot Topic. And you saw everybody's already seen this because this is where we were filming at and everything like that. So we'll go in the other room. Let's go look in the normal room.
They had to start with that. With his head. And then they work through.
Yep. Well, one day we'll get you in here to play, and you can learn what happens. This is based off an old what's called a gramophone. Do you know what a gramophone is? It's different than a grandpa phone. No? Okay, that's a different joke. So wax cylinders. You ever heard of a wax cylinder? So a wax cylinder is essentially what a vinyl record was before vinyl records. You know what a vinyl record is? Listen, I have to ask questions, all right? Listen. And so records were essentially this shape, but they worked the same. They had these grooves on them.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, right? And so when you stick them in here, like
Journal of Dr. Frankenstein.
they would play.
I have procured one of these.
Bye.
Feel free to open the door. It's nothing scary. Unless you consider wires scary. So
There's your department.
So this is how everything in the room, for the most part, runs. Not 100%, because some things are built into the rooms themselves. So this makes all the lights turn on and off, plays all the audio sound effects, and then just runs all the logic, the brains behind the thing. So in every room we have one of these, and then all this is just these complicated looking things here are just to keep the wires organized so we can tell when something breaks where it is. And then these little devices made by the same company right here, and this one runs audio, this one runs the puzzle that's in here we just saw, like that. So this is believe it or not, this is pretty much all it takes to run all of what you've seen so far, which seems crazy, I know. You can see this. This is our mummy themed room, and you have to break the mummy's curse. Push it all you want, it won't do anything.
This is my coloring book. I saw it for $7.99 on Amazon. I created it last Christmas.
Well, that's cool. And that's you on the front, right? Is that your eye?
No.
Oh, okay. Is that your eye?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, this is neat. Have you sold a lot of these? Say yes. Yeah, cool. Look at that. That's amazing. This is mine?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd like to give a huge shout out and thank you to Escape My Way in Las Vegas for having us and allowing us to film. If you are in Vegas and you love escape rooms, be sure to check them out. Ticket info will be down below. Join me next time when I interview local artist, sculptor, and small business owner Kyle from Postmortem Customs. I want to thank my amazing guest tonight, Bizzaro, for not only coming on and sharing some awesome stories and amazing magic, but also for the private tour of the escape rooms. If you want to witness Bizzaro while being Bizzaro, you can find him performing at Late Night Magic at the Orleans in Las Vegas. Still can't get enough? Go to Bizzaro Ninja for all things Bizzaro. Interested in more escape room stuff? Check out testsubjects.com. And as always, a screaming thank you to each and every one of you that have watched the series so far. If you love this video and think your friends may too, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for stopping by. Stay spooky, and as always, unpleasant dreams.